Game is a lifestyle, it's not a hobby. And I'm going to explain to you guys why I day game or do cold approach pickup every single day. But before we kick it off, I'm Dave, and this channel is dedicated to giving you no BS, novel dating advice for the modern man. Top link in the description to have a more detailed blog post on this topic. So, game is not a hobby. It's not something that you can dabble in for a short period of time. It's not something where you can be a weekend warrior and you can go and meet up with your friends on the weekend and pump out a compact, concentrated amount of spam approaches and just be a nuisance to society. Game is a lifestyle. It is something that you should be engaging in every single day. Recently I spoke to a guy who told me that he was advanced at game. Yet because of the lockdown and because of COVID, he hadn't done an approach in 6 months to a year. That's not advanced. If you are advanced, that means that you make this a lifestyle. This means that even if nuclear winter kicks in, you are still finding out ways to get into approaches, get into sets, get into interactions, and possibly converting those. Day game cold approach pickup is a lifestyle if you want to get good at it, that is, of course. Now myself, I do it every single day and haven't stopped for I don't know how many years. Almost a decade now. I've probably been doing it almost every single day, unless something serious pops up, like I'm sick, I've got an injury, or I just can't go outside, and still I'll try to figure out a way to make approaches. I had a hip replacement, I was in crutches, and I got myself a date on my way to go get food. I ended up having dinner with this girl and making a move on her, and she was like, what's going on? I thought, so even if I'm in crutches, I still do something. Now, this is how you get good at any skill. And let me explain a little bit more. So for instance, guys that take 6 months off, or even guys that take a few months or 1 month off, how do you get good at any skill? Well, you build up momentum over time. And that means that you need to continuously be practicing this skill every single day, and your abilities and your skill level increases. It compounds over time. And if someone takes a month off or 6 months off, then well, you might as well just start from scratch, because that's where you're starting. A lot of guys, I totally empathize with you guys that live in Europe, where for 6 months of the year it's too cold. You can't really do much cold approach. I totally understand that. And that's not your fault. But you can't really say that you're advanced if you take 6 months of the year off. I game every single day of the year and have been for at least a decade now, minimum. Doing it properly and doing it actively and being mindful of doing it, and over time that compounds. That's why at my age I'm still capable of massive success with girls that arguably people would say that I have no business dating. And that is only because of the amount of practice and the compound effect of that over time. And I want to just pitch that to you guys. Top link in the description. I've got a blog post where I go into more detail on this topic. Now let's go a little bit further on. If you find a way to get into interactions every single day, you're less likely to be needy. You're less likely to be, oh, quick, give me the number. I gotta get a flaky number and get out of there. If you are engaging in cold approach and doing day game every single day, you're less likely to become a spam approacher and make a fool of yourself and game as well, because game has a bad reputation, and I would argue that a large percentage of that bad reputation comes from guys that just concentrate all of their game into one short spam approach session, and they burn out an area, they make a fool of themselves, they burn out the area, they make a fool of themselves, they also make a fool of game. as a practice, as a skill, as something that really should be taken seriously. And I think a lot of men out there should be taking games seriously because, well, game is a lifestyle and it is something that is very valuable to you and your life. There's also a lot of marketers out there that pitch all these other ways to do game, but game's a lifestyle in my opinion. It's not something that you just smash it out, concentrated little hit-ups. It's not something that you do when you're only on drugs, when you hit the nightclubs. It's not something that you only do on the weekends when you hit the nightclubs. And this is something that a lot of people just, they're doing game wrong. Sure, if you're doing it every single day, you can still hit the clubs as well. Of course, it's very valuable being able to hit the clubs. But the thing is, when you're in the middle of lockdown, or just say it's Monday to Friday, Monday to Thursday, say, you can't really do too much in the clubs. What do? Do you just quit game? So you're only really gaming 1 or 2 nights a week? How can you ever get good at something when you're only doing it 1 or 2 nights a week, maybe once a week? For a lot of those night gamer specialists out there, I would argue that you should be gaming every day, and I would argue that you should be doing, it should be a lifestyle. This is what I'm trying to pitch to you guys. It should be a lifestyle. I myself do it every single day. My skill level gets a little bit better over time. And if someone was on my level and they take a month off or 6 months off, their skill level spirals down to 0 while I'm continuously getting better every day. And I would say that if you want to get good at this, you have to take it seriously. You have to do it every single day. You have to find a way to make it happen. And I've had hip replacements. I've lived on the couch. I've been so poor I've lived on the couch. I've still made it happen. And so for some guys out there that make excuses, I would say that I've been in worse situations, and there's no excuse to not make this a lifestyle. And if you want to get good at it, it has to be a lifestyle. I would argue that game is one of the best skills that you can have as a man. It really does improve your life no matter how hard life punches you in the face. If you can rely on having game, it can really change so many other aspects of your life as well. It is such a valuable skill to have. And if you're taking a couple months off, you're never going to get good at it. If you're saying that I'm too busy at work and you're making excuses, you're never going to get good at it. I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're just never going to get good at game. Game is a lifestyle. It's not a hobby. Top link in the description. I've put the blog post in there where I go into a little bit more detail on what I just said to you guys. You know, I sit down and write these things, so a little bit more detail in the blog post. And if you want to get some coaching with me, right now obviously I'm in lockdown, but consider it in the not too distant future, and we can engage in the sweet art of cold approach. And anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.